What is up, everybody? Welcome to the Movies That Make You podcast. Season 2 is in full gear, and so we are super excited for what we got going on this season. Just to let you know what that means, we still have our weekly Prepisodes where we discuss movies to watch in preparation for a new release hitting theaters. I got my buddy POPpaGoss on those each and every week. Those drop on Mondays at 6 a.m. Also, we have our Creators Conversations. This is where we're interviewing people from the business and beyond to discuss what they do to create and how they create their art. We will be releasing one of those interviews a month, so be on the lookout for that on YouTube. We're also doing our monthly watch-alongs where we pick a movie to watch. We live stream our conversation while we're watching the film on YouTube. This week, we're going to be preparing for the Oscars by talking about the 10 nominees for Best Picture as we prepare to see which movies get the golden statue. We hope you also check out our website at moviesthatmakeyoupodcast.com. There you can see all of our social links. You can listen to the podcast. You can watch the podcast. We also have our merch store. You can find tons of merch for Movies That Make You and our friends. We also have a link to our letterbox where you can see all the movies that we watch in preparation for the new releases, but also the movies that make you laugh, the movies that make you cry, the movies that make you scream, and everything in between. So before we get to this week's episode, let's check out what we got coming up on the Movies That Make You podcast. On Friday, we are going to have Alex Armbruster on for a Creators Conversation. It's going to drop at 2 p.m. We're going to be talking about his career as a stunt performer, all the way back to when he got started, all the way up to and including his performance in Frankenstein, which is nominated for 9 Oscars. So we're going to be dropping that for Oscars weekend. Join us. You don't want to miss this fun conversation. Then on Sunday, March 15th, join Josh and I on YouTube as we do our live watch-along of the Oscars. Hear our commentary as you watch the awards, and we can all enjoy them together. Next week, we're going to be talking space movies in preparation for Project Hail Mary with Ryan Gosling. We'll be talking about a couple of movies where folks needed rescuing from space: Apollo 13, The Martian, and Interstellar. Check it out. Look at that. We're going to be bringing back our good friend, the Spooky Okie. We're going to be discussing films to prepare for Ready or Not, Here I Come. We're going to be talking about the first Ready or Not film, Abigail, and others. The week after that, we're going to invite Zeke on the show to discuss Super Mario Galaxy. We're going to be discussing a lot of films that have to do with Nintendo, characters, Mario Brothers, etc. So it's going to be a fun episode to have Zeke on. Hope those episodes excite you. So without further ado, let's get to the podcast. We are back with another episode of the Movies That Make You podcast. I am Sprang, joined by my co-host, Mr. POPpaGoss. What is up, my buddy?
What's going on?
And we are here to discuss the 10 nominees for Best Picture at the Oscars this year. All this in preparation for the Oscars that is dropping on Sunday, March 15th. We are going to be doing a live stream of the watch along. So those of you that want to kind of have us as your commentary on the side while you're watching the Oscars, we're going to start our stream around 5:30. We might both be on the whole time, or we might kind of take breaks. Who knows? Life happens, right? But we're going to have the stream up.
Sure.
So we'll be on, and so you can kind of have us as your commentary, like we're sitting on the couch watching the Oscars with you. One other plug, I know you probably just heard it in the intro, but we are super excited. Alex Armbruster interview drops this Friday. If you're listening to this on Monday, the Friday before the Oscars, we are dropping our interview with Alex Armbruster, who is a stunt man who also performed in Frankenstein, which we're going to get to a little bit later, Oscar-nominated Frankenstein. So we were super excited for that. Couple of really fun interviews we've had going down, and a couple of other fun ones coming up here in the next few months. So be on the lookout for that. Creators Conversations on our YouTube channel. There's a playlist there for you. So fun times. Pretty amazing, man, that we've gotten these interviews. Super stoked.
Yeah, so there's been some great ones so far, and we got even better ones to come. So,
absolutely. Well, cool, man. Well, before we jump into the Oscars, man, how's your week been?
Week's been good, man. Just doing some stuff around the house. I only worked a couple substitute shifts this past week. But yeah, just kind of trying to get stuff put out. There was Target Con last week, so I put out a long form video, which I need to be better at. I kind of got away from doing those for a long time. I used to be really good, like last year, especially at a schedule. Like I'd have a short come out in the middle of the week, and then a long form the end of the week or beginning of the week. Then I kind of rotate. Sometimes I'd have 3 videos out in one week, but I've just kind of gotten down to whatever I can put out, but mostly shorts just because they're a lot easier to edit and put out. So I've been trying to think of new long form ones to put out. I have a few in mind. I just need to get filming and stuff because night comes up and then my son goes to bed and then I'm like, I should get caught up on some of those videos, but it doesn't
Hmm.
always happen that way.
For sure.
But yeah, life's been good. Just been stoked for the podcast, and we just put out a couple weeks ago. We just put out our Michael Zara interview, which I thought was fantastic. I'm just
Yeah.
hoping we can get the funding up on that so they can finish that movie. And then yeah, we've had some awesome episodes in between, so
Yeah.
I'm
Good
excited.
call. Good call on that. It's up on the Instagram. On our Instagram, POPpaGoss got it on his Instagram. Michael Zara has it on his, which is Zara's Stories on Instagram. But you
The
can
Art of
donate.
Elysium.
Yes, we have the donation link there, so you can jump in there, donate. I donated this week, so hoping to get some more funding so they can finish the movie and do all the extra stuff after getting it edited. There's still more to do, so pretty cool.
We had some, I checked it a few days after the pod, and we had a few more people had donated already. So it's already starting to. Actually, one of them reached out to me. It was an extra that was the day I was there. And
Nice,
I recognized his profile picture, and I messaged him and said, "Hey man, thanks so much for donating." And I remember on set, he was like real, super nice, but I forget his name, but yeah, so I mean, it was working, but yeah, he's like, "Yeah, we gotta get this thing out," and he was just very thankful for the experience and, just really cool, so,
yeah,
got a few got I think he subbed to the podcast, and then, I met some people, a few this last couple weeks, that also subbed to the podcast, so that's been nice,
nice,
so
yeah.
starting to just meet people out and about and tell them
Yeah,
about stuff.
I actually have shared my podcast link with like 4 or 5 people this week.
Awesome.
That's why I did it on the phones because it's easy to like, "Hey, here you go," like, "You interested?" And I wear the hat every once in a while, but I got the phone, so if anybody says, "Oh, I like your shirt," if it's a Star Wars shirt or a movie shirt,
Yeah.
I'm like, "Hey, like, you like movies? You can subscribe to the podcast, check it out." So,
Well,
it's
the cool ones are usually run into like horror people. So like I sold a mattress, spring mat board the other day, and the guy had like a Friday the 13th button up on, and
nice.
he was with
Yeah,
his wife and his son, and I just was like, "Oh, you like horror movies and stuff?" And then we just so happened to be interviewing Mike Levy that day. So I was
mhm,
like, "Oh, he produces the Terrifier movies." So he's like, "Oh, cool. Send me the link or whatever." And then even cooler was I was at Scream 7 for the fan event, and there was a mom and her son who was about probably 13 or 14, I would have to say. But she had 4 kids, and her and her son, her oldest, just bonded over horror movies, and she was starting to get him into stuff, and he dressed as Ghostface for the
nice.
screening, but they were sitting right next to us, and we just struck up a conversation, and
Yeah,
I put him in my short that I made for my out of the theater, and
all
I was
that,
like,
that's cool.
You wanna be on there?" And he was like, "Yeah, heck yeah." And then his mom just thought I was telling her about Frightmare, and she'd never heard of it, and I was like, "Yeah, check out our podcast." And she was so excited. So they both,
That's
her
awesome.
son and her, subscribed to the podcast, which is cool. So
Yeah, man, that's
yeah,
cool.
it's fun.
Very cool. We're getting the word
Networking.
out. Yeah. Man, my week's been good and kinda, Friday this past Friday, we went and saw live, college gymnastics. So those of you that
Oh,
look
heck yeah.
have been around the podcast a while, my wife, Kristen, she's on the show every once in a while. She did gymnastics when she was younger, and she got me into college gymnastics, and it's because we went to Texas Women's University, and their gym, this is no shade, their gym is like the size of a high school gym. Like, it's a small university, but what that means is that when you sit on the front row of the bleachers, you're 3 feet from the vault run, and you're that close to these athletes. And the first time that we went, OU was there, competing against, TWU, and there were, like, 3 or 4 Olympic alternates on OU at the time, and I was like, "Wait, they were like, Olympic level athletes are 3 feet from me? That's insane." And
Yeah,
then
that's so cool.
just to see them perform and do what they do is and to be that close is just amazing. So the team that was there with this past Friday was Florida, University of Florida Gators, And up until this year, they had an Olympic athlete, Lian Wong, was competed with them. This year, they have two that actually got injured at the Olympic trials during warm-ups. So they didn't even get to like go to the trials because they got injured in
Man,
warm-ups.
it's
Caleb
brutal.
Cello and Sky Blakely. So it was really amazing to see them both. We saw Sky Blakely get her first perfect 10 on beam, which was amazing to be there. And her parents, we met her and her parents a couple years ago at the national championships, and we didn't know who she was. And so we're like, "Oh, do you do gymnastics?" She's like, "Yeah." And then we're like, "Oh yeah." She's like Olympic level
Do you do
quality.
gymnastics?
And so
I've
we
been
actually
known to
set
do a cartwheel or two.
yeah. So we actually sat in the same section as her parents and her, like she's from this area, and so there were like 10 or 15 people there just for her. So we kind of sat in that group, and they gave us some Florida, Gators things to fly around and shake around and show our support. But just really cool. It's a really cool vibe, and it's fun to, like I said, to be that close to an Olympic athlete is pretty amazing. So that was fun. And then, yeah, man, Scream weekend. I've seen it 3 times now. Well,
Heck yeah.
2.5 times. I made
Yeah.
it halfway through the fan event because I had to pick Zeke up from a school thing, so I didn't get to make it to the fan event when it started. But I already had my ticket, and so I just got another ticket for later after it. So I saw it kind of halfway and then saw it again. And then Chris and I went and saw it yesterday. I really enjoyed it. I see the critiques of it, but I had a
Yeah.
good time
I
with it.
mean, the third act is not, I mean, it could be better. It didn't like deter me from enjoying the, like,
Mhm,
especially as like this is the first one I can recall. I didn't see all of them in theaters, but this is the first one I can recall having like so much fan service, like
mhm,
from the music nods to the some of the like sets, like the backgrounds of
mhm.
the sets. Um to, some of the lines that they use, like,
Yeah,
it's just all a nod to where it started for the 30th anniversary, so, I enjoyed it. I mean, I know I like you, I know why people don't like certain things, and then I read other things, and I'm just like, "That doesn't make sense why you would not like this, but you do like this part of it."
yeah,
So, I mean, I'm just glad people went to the theaters,
yep,
had a good time. It's already
absolutely.
the highest grossing opening weekend of the whole franchise. So I mean, that's exciting. We
Mhm,
need cinema to just keep doing well. We can't rely on these awesome popcorn buckets all the time to just keep the
right.
theaters running. So like we need people to actually go and enjoy, and the showing I went to was amazing. I mean, I can't recall since before COVID another movie where I went to it and people were like cheering and hooting and
Mhm,
hollering and like,
yeah.
just so excited to be there. Even the trailer, like Scary Movie 6, people when Marlon Wayans came on
Mhm,
the screen for scary and he said we're back or whatever,
yeah,
my theater went bananas. Like they were so and that was exciting. Like I was laughing to myself because I was like, I don't remember feeling this at a recent movie since COVID. So it was fun. But yeah, I get it, but also I had a blast, so that's all that matters.
absolutely, absolutely. Well, cool. Well, let's jump into it. We're going to talk about the Oscar Best Picture nominations. This has kind of become a yearly annual thing that I like to do on the podcast. So, just to kind of get prepared, it's something I want to force myself to do because the Oscar nominated films a lot of times aren't those big blockbuster films that you just naturally see. There's some that are kind of a little bit obscure, and it's like I don't want to just be a film lover that loves one type of film. I want to be someone that understands as much of film as I can. And while some things maybe aren't necessarily my cup of tea, I want to watch it and so I can see what makes that film great and why the Academy feels like it's worth honoring in this way. And so then, and sometimes you just get opened up to movies and you're just like, wow, I did not know that a movie could do that. Um, and then you get introduced to another director or another actor that kind of like propels you down a path of being able to kind of expand your likes and your dislikes. So it's really enjoyed. So it's kind of nice. I'd like to do this episode for those of you that kind of feel the same way, or you want to see some, you don't have time to see all of them. Which ones can you focus on? And so we're going to talk a little bit about them. I've seen all of them. Josh has seen half of them, so we're going to kind of alternate between, so we can kind of discuss the movies that are nominated for Best Picture, and they're not in any particular order. So we're going to start with F1. I'll tell you, this one
Nice.
I was very surprised that it got an Oscar nomination, not because it's not a great movie, but because it is one of those big blockbuster popcorn movies. Those don't always get nominations, and so it was pretty amazing to have this be nominated. Directed by Joseph Kosinski, stars Brad Pitt, Damon Idris, and Javier Bardem. And this was an amazingly fun time at the cinema. I mean, you go into it, it's got all the ups and downs that you expect from a big Hollywood kind of blockbuster. It has all the emotional things just turned the right way. Each step of the way, you're going with it emotionally, and it feel good at the end. It's just so amazing. Javier Bardem plays a guy that owns a F1 team, and he wants to bring Brad Pitt in because he used to race against him and with him. He wants to bring Brad Pitt in to help his team get this new kid up to snuff so that he can actually start winning some races. And it's just really fun and clever the way that Brad Pitt's this kind of aging driver who understands the game and knows how to kind of get a teammate in ahead of the game without with it all just being not just being about race faster. He like tries to use ways to kind of get him to succeed. And of course, the two drivers they butt heads a lot of the time, and then it ends up that they end up spoiler alert, they end up working together at the end, and it ends up being a surprise ending. I'm not going to ruin it in case you haven't seen it. Really, really touching, powerful way to end it, and then it sets it up for kind of an F1 movie too. And they've been talking about bringing Tom Cruise into that as well. But what have you heard about F1? I know you didn't get to see it this time, but
Yeah,
what are your
I'm
thoughts?
kind of sad I didn't go because so Joseph Kosinski directed it, and for all of you who don't know who that is, if that name sounds familiar, he just a couple years ago, after the pandemic, put out Top Gun Maverick, which just annihilated. It brought people back to the theaters. It was just a really surreal experience. That's another one I did not get to see in the theaters, unfortunately. And I really wish I would have, because when I finally did watch Top Gun, I was like, that was one of the coolest movies. And I
Yeah.
bet it looked really awesome on a big screen. So, same kind of format for this one, as he used for Top Gun Maverick, putting expensive cameras from Panavision on the actual cars, and he did that for Top Gun with smaller size cameras. But that's how we got the cockpit camera footage, and they were actually flying planes in Top Gun Maverick. Same thing for F1. They're actually racing cars, and the cameras are actually on there. Um, it's got 4 Oscar nominations total. So it's got Best Sound, Best Visual Effects, Best Film Editing, and then obviously the big one, Best Picture of the Year, which is crazy, like you just said. I mean, we don't normally see those big, unless they're like a monumental film like Black Panther a few years back. That was a big deal at the time too, but I mean, it was not only a huge blockbuster film, but like it had an important message and all that, kind of like Sinners this year. And it's crazy that Ryan Coogler is, behind both of those. But yeah, it's just a big, almost like a big action movie. And Top Gun didn't get nominated for Best Picture when it came out, even though you would have thought it would have.
Hmm.
One, I think Brad Pitt being the main person too, the Academy has a little bit more love for some reason towards like those kind of actors than even like Tom Cruise. I mean, he's been nominated a couple times over the years, but not for films you would think he would get nominated for. Uh,
Hmm.
so yeah, it's just cool. And I did read a fun fact that this was Brad Pitt's highest earnings for a movie. He got paid $30 million for this movie, which I mean that's a crazy amount, but he had never made close to that in any other movie that he's done. And I think having Apple backing it had a lot to do with that, because Apple just
They want to get,
they
yeah.
somehow spend all that money. Yeah, so the marketing was good. Obviously they made their awards run, and now they got 4 Oscar nominations. But it looks like a lot of fun. I
Yeah.
will watch it. I just I haven't logged in to Apple yet to try that out. But that's another one I wish I would have seen on the big screen. But I heard it was fun. My brother just he texted me last week, and he just watched it on Apple, and he was like, "Man, that was such a great movie. He had such a fun time with it." So,
It's one of those movies where you go in, you know exactly the story beats. You could probably call out the story beats the entire movie.
right.
Like, just seeing
Yeah.
the trailers and just kinda understanding how these stories take place and how movies work, like, you could have called out every single twist and turn of the movie, nearly everyone except the last one, and yet you don't leave like feeling shorted at all. It's like you enjoy every single step of the way, and I think that's why it's nominated for Best Picture, because it it executed on that so perfectly. And I do think the cinematography, the way that the cameras look. I mean, Brad Pitt did drive those cars really fast, and that's insane too. And you kind of brought up the fact that it's exciting to kind of have some of these big blockbusters get nominated. Um, you may know this, Josh, but maybe our audience doesn't. But they actually switched to they have 5 nominees forever, and that was until the 2010 Oscars kind of celebrating the 2009 movies, and that was because The Dark Knight did not get a Best Picture nomination for its run, and that would have been the 2009 Oscars. So the very next year, they expanded to 10. Now, Heath Ledger did get nominated and win for Best Supporting Actor, which is the no-brainer. But I think that was the Oscar saying, you know what, like there are some more films out there we should be giving this honor to, and I don't think it diminishes the nomination at all to expand it to 10. There's so many movies that are coming out now, from the small independent films to the big blockbusters, that there needs to be space for all types of movies. And I think since expanded to 10, there's more space in there for films like Avatar or others that you wouldn't have been able to get that into that nominee category. And F1, I think, is one of those. I don't know that it's going to win Best Picture, but I think it's really great. It's worth the nomination. That's what I would say. So, and
Well,
it's
and
great.
not only the chance for like big movies to be nominated, but like I think it's really opened up since they did that the opportunities for the smaller budget, like independent film, like even the independent companies like A24. They've won a couple times now, Best Picture.
Mhm.
Just, I mean, there's so many opportunities for film, because they expanded, and it's funny because right after they first expanded it, the first few years, I'm pretty positive they only had like 9 Best Picture nominations for like the
Yeah,
first few years
it was
because
some
I think they
sort of
were just
like,
kind of testing it.
yeah, they said they had some sort of like calculation that they were doing that would have, had it 8, 9, or 10, like, but
Yeah.
and I think I'm glad they just dropped that and just said, "You know what? Let's just
Yeah, I
keep
mean, if
it
you
at 10."
expanded it to 10, do the full 10. I mean,
Yeah.
I think one year they even did 8 because I would watch every year and I would try to see how many I got right on the
Mhm.
thing, especially at the video store. We used to give the customers like little sheets they could fill out and put it in a bucket. And then if
Cool.
whoever had the most right, they'd get like a store credit or whatever.
That's awesome.
So we used to do a fun little thing for that, but yeah, I remember one year I think they even only did 8, and I was like, "What is the point of expanding to 10 if you guys are not gonna use all 10 spaces?"
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm glad they did it also. They don't necessarily need to go to 10, but I feel like certain categories need to be expanded, like best director, I think should be like closer to 8 at least, just because I feel like every year we get 1 or 2 directors who just get snubbed. Uh, I
Mhm.
think the actor and actress and all that is fine at 5 just because it makes it a little bit more limited, and I mean, you don't wanna have to decide between, 8 epic performances or 10 epic, so I think those are fine, but yeah, I do, wish they would change the best director because I feel like at least a couple more nominations would, not
Mhm.
snub directors for working so hard on a big film, especially when their movies are like up for Best Picture and they're not nominated for Best Director. Like that's,
Right.
I just feel like that's not very fair. So
Yeah. Very cool. Well, speaking of Oscar nominations, and just someone who's just knocking it out of the park with Oscar nominations is Yorgos Lanthimos. I think
jeez,
he
yeah,
is it's insane how many, of his feature films have been nominated for Best Picture, all the way back to The Favorite, Poor Things, and now Begonia. I think those are the 3 big ones that he's been best p at least somebody in the film was nominated. I think Emma Stone won, for, Poor Things,
poor things.
and,
Yeah.
it'll be interesting to see if where she lands this year for Begonia. But, you saw Begonia. What's your take on Begonia?
I really enjoy I knew I would like it, I'm excited for this one only because I had, friends and even people I read online, people who, like, aren't a huge fan of his work, like, they think his movies are odd, and they are for sure, um, like, I've been watching his movies since The Lobster, like, that was the first one I ever saw, with Colin Farrell, and I mean, it was an odd one, but it was well acted, obviously, it was unique, it was, something I hadn't seen any movie like that before, so, um, I've always thought he was odd just like everybody else, but this one is nice because I think it's the first time I remember reading, like, on Letterboxd or Instagram or whatever, people just really appreciating this one because it is so great. I think it helps, it's kind of got that science fictiony feel to it, and then the obviously the performances. Like I've been a huge Jesse Plemons fan for even
Yeah.
since his days as a kid when he was in Like Mike, believe it or when the Bow Wow movie where he got the Air Jordans and he could play
Yep.
in the NBA. He was the bully kid in that at a young age. So I've always just
I think I first came across him was in, Breaking Bad. I probably had seen Like
oh
Mike, but
yeah,
then
nice.
he played a really good character in Breaking Bad that, like, was something to be feared.
I
Yeah.
think Breaking Bad was, like, the first time he people found out what he was capable of. I like,
Mhm.
he'd been in some smaller things and TV shows and stuff, but I think that was the first time, like, people were like, "Okay, I mean, he's pretty serious," and then he just from then on, he only I feel like he's another actor who's, like, really selective. One of his best roles ever, I don't know if you've seen it, there's a movie called, Game Night, with Jason
Yes.
Bateman and,
Yes.
Rachel McAdams. He plays the next door neighbor police officer in that movie.
Yeah.
So funny, so, like, deadpan,
Mhm.
and his delivery of lines is
Yeah.
so funny, but that movie was awesome, very underrated, but he's great in that. He's really great in Begonia. Obviously Emma Stone is awesome. I don't think this is her. I know she's nominated as well, but I don't think this is her best performance. Not that she's bad in it. She's had so many other performances that are strong. But yeah, I'm excited. Yorgos is kind of getting more, I don't know, mainstream maybe is the right word, just because people who didn't really appreciate his other work, are really enjoyed this one and took to this one. I think because it wasn't it wasn't completely odd, and it wasn't like a period piece like The Favorite, which I thought The
Yeah.
Favorite was fantastic, but that's not everybody's cup of tea. So yeah, I'm excited. I think I it's another one where I'm on the fence. I don't know if it would win Best Picture. I think it out of all the nominees, I think it has a little bit stronger case just because of who it is and who stars in it and
Mhm.
stuff. So we'll see. But I enjoyed it. I thought it was awesome. Really cool twist. Some real WTF moments where you're like, "Dang, that was crazy."
Mhm.
But yeah, I like
Yeah.
Yorgos, and I'm excited to see what the future holds for him.
Yeah, absolutely. Kinda just speaking a little bit to his catalog, I mean, the last 4 movies have starred Emma Stone, so they definitely have a great chemistry. They both were in Jesse Plemons and Emma Stone were in Kinds of Kindness last year, and that was released pretty close to the beginning of the year, and it was kind of like so close to Poor Things. It was kind of like I mean, I know it was a full length feature, but it just kind of felt like, hey, let's kind of ride the Poor Things a little bit and get this out there. But that was a very interesting. Kinds of Kindness was a very interesting movie. But he worked with Jesse Plemons in that, and then brings them both back to be in Begonia. And I'm with you. I mean, I think this one's a little bit more approachable for a regular kind of moviegoer. And then it has like the nice little uh, twist and turns at the end that are a lot of fun, and kind of get at his style of movie making. Shot really well, acted really well. It's just it's worth
Oh,
the watch for sure.
and this one I forgot to tell what the nominee. So this one also had 4 nominations: best achievement in music, written for a motion picture; best performance by an actress, Emma Stone; best adapted screenplay, Will Tracy. Oh, and I guess Jesse Plemons wasn't I thought he was nominated. I guess he's
Okay.
not. And then obviously best picture. But yeah, still four nominations. And yeah, Emma Stone. I think she was nominated for what? She was in The Favorite also, right?
Yep. Yep. I think she was
Yeah, so I think
best
I'm pretty
supporting
sure
in
she was
The Favorite.
nominated for 3 of the last 4 movies that he's done. So that's
Yeah.
him and Emma they're gonna be the new Scorsese, DiCaprio,
Yeah.
they're gonna be the new tag team. So that's cool.
Exactly. That's amazing. Well, cool. Let's move over to Hamnet. This one is directed by Chloe Zhao. For those of you that maybe find that name recognizable, she did a movie that I remember seeing. Frances McDormand won Best Actress for Nomadland from
Real
2020.
good.
I'm sorry, 2020. And then she got the Marvel Eternals movie, which didn't do great with fans, but was still a very well done movie in my opinion. And now she's got Hamnet. Hamnet is the story of William Shakespeare and his wife having their Hamnet pass away as a child, and the effects that had on their family, and his kind of his writing and performing and what it just did. Chris and I watched this. It is not one that it's not a feel good movie in the sense that you are sad a majority of the movie. It's really touching. I actually brought Zeke in to watch one scene. Paul Mescal playing Shakespeare was kind of needed to leave to go to London to continue working at the Playhouse, and his son Hamnet is just sad that he's leaving. And that kid, Jacoby Juppé, that scene alone, I was like, oh my goodness, this kid's amazing. And I brought Zeke in because Zeke wants to be an actor too. And I like, watch this
Oh, okay.
performance, watch this kid's performance and how he plays this. It's so believable. It's so authentic. He's not acting. He's living this role. And I've said you don't have to be that good. I'm not saying you need to be an Oscar nominated actor, but just as an inspiration that kids can emote this deeply as well, and something to strive for. But yeah, Jesse Buckley is getting a lot of praise for this movie for good reason. There's so much emotion in this. There's one scene I saw or that she kind of improvised the scream. There's a moment in the movie where she screams and she's like, "Yeah, it was just naturally coming out like in that moment. Wasn't in the script." And so anyway, it's just really well done. Paul Mescal does a good job. He's not the figure like the focus of the film. The focus is more the Jesse Buckley character. But he does a really good job in the film as well. So what have you heard about
Yeah, I've
Hamnet?
heard it's one of the best I mean, I think this one, if Sinners doesn't win Best Picture, I have a feeling this one is high up there just because of all that I've heard. Um, and I think anytime you're dealing with anything related to Shakespeare, it usually has a better chance. If you look in the past, it usually has a better chance of winning Best Picture. Um, what does stick out to me are the producers for this movie. We've got 2 legendary directors. We have Sam Mendes, who I love Sam Mendes, and then Steven Spielberg, a huge name as well.
Nice.
Having those 2 behind it as producers, I mean, that means something.
Mhm.
But yeah, this one got 8 nominations, which was, I believe, third or fourth highest nominations for this year. Um, but yeah, Chloe Zhao, I really liked Nomadland. I still have not sat down to watch The Eternals yet. Nothing against it. I just it's not on. I have a ton of Marvel stuff I'm behind on TV
Yeah.
shows, movies. So, but yeah, I will watch it eventually. I do think she's very talented director. She has a knack for controlling the actors and especially the actresses. And I'm really, really excited for Jessie Buckley. I've only seen her bits and pieces here and there. And
Mhm.
I cannot wait for The Bride. I think she's gonna be
Yes.
so good in that. Um,
Yeah.
and yeah, maybe we have her, a future. I know she's a little bit older than some of the like young stars, but maybe she's like one of the next big things. So
Mhm.
I'm excited to watch Hamnet once I get a chance to. But yeah, it has 8 nominations: best casting, best music, best directing, Chloe Zhao. Best performance by an actress, Jessie Buckley. Adapted screenplay, production design, costume design, and then obviously best picture of the year. So, a lot of big nominations, and I've just heard nothing, but I haven't heard one negative thing about this movie. So, cannot wait to watch it finally. But yeah, I hope our audience gets to watch it as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Very cool. Let's move on to the next film we're going to talk about, and that is Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein. This one stars Jacob Elordi, Oscar Isaac, Christoph Waltz, as well as others like Mia Goth, Lars Mikkelsen, David Bradley from Game of Thrones and Lord of the Rings fame. But yeah, Frankenstein, take it away, man. What's
Oh
you got?
man, yeah, beautiful film. I mean, if you're a huge fan of Guillermo del Toro and you have not seen this movie yet, this is the movie and the franchise that he has been wanting to do his entire career. And boy, I mean, he did really well. It's beautifully shot. Obviously, he's always got really good cinematography. The performances obviously are really good. It's I think it's a more accurate take on the tale of Frankenstein because he wanted to be as close to the Mary Shelley book as possible. But yeah, just the set designs and the um, just how everything kind of like comes to be. The special effects, obviously, he's very good at practical effects. So, I mean, there's some early stuff in the movie where you're kind of seeing the early stages of what the monster is supposed to look like. And I thought that stuff was all really cool because I know how practical effects are like Del Toro's thing. Um, but yeah, just awesome cast. I feel some of the cast, like I love these actors and actresses, but some of them just didn't have a lot of screen time. Christoph Waltz, I love, but he's not in it for very long. I mean, it truly focuses on Oscar Isaac and Jacob Elordi for the most part. I mean, they're in
Hmm.
almost every scene, and every other scene if they take a break. So, the you know relationship between the two and just how the movie kind of unfolds. It's pretty lengthy. It's about 2.5 hours. And there are parts that are set up for um, more of the storytelling rather than, it's not action the whole movie. Like I think some people probably were expecting just from the trailers and stuff.
Hmm.
But yeah, I mean, it has 9 Oscar nominations. Jacob Elordi's kind of like the hot new thing, even with Wuthering Heights not doing as well. I mean, he was huge on Euphoria. He's just been popping up in everything. And then the minute he was cast to be the monster in this movie, I was very intrigued just because, I'm sure there was many people who were up for that role. And I would have not been surprised if it was like somebody who has worked with Del Toro a bunch of times, or even I love Doug Jones. I would have thought, maybe he would have even put him in there somehow, but I'm glad he went for kind of like an actual rising star. But yeah, this one has it's beautifully shot. The performances are great. It's just got such a beautiful take on the story that we didn't get to see in all the other iterations. Like, especially the final act, like probably the last 30 minutes. There's just some real like beautiful poetry like in the dialogue or like the readings that the narrator kind of talks over, and there's just like it's just very poetic, and it's just got a lot of heart, but it's a monster movie, but I love
Hmm.
that kind of stuff. But yeah, it's got 9 nominations. Obviously cinematography, which is Dan Laustin, who he has worked with many times before. We have makeup and hairstyling. We've got music, sound. Um, Jacob Elordi is up for best supporting actor. Del Toro was not nominated for director, but he was nominated for screenplay, production design, costume design, which costume design
Yeah.
has a real strong chance to win. And then obviously best picture of the year. Um, but yeah, overall, awesome movie. So much fun. And we will have our Alex Armbruster, like we mentioned earlier, he was a stunt actor on this film, so we got to kind of talk about what it was like being on set and some cool
Hmm.
stuff. He shared some cool stories about working with Del Toro and stuff. So check that out because it was awesome. We timed it to where we had somebody who actually worked on a Best Picture nomination movie. So very fun. I enjoyed Frankenstein quite a
Yeah.
bit.
I did too. I mentioned last week, if you haven't watched it yet or listened to it yet, last week we did our prep for The Bride, and we talked a lot deeply on all the Frankenstein, at least some key Frankenstein films from the past, and I had not seen any of them until I saw Frankenstein 2025. I watched that one and then went back and watched some of the original ones. I kind of want to go back and watch this one again because I want to see some of those things because I didn't know what to expect in the story because I hadn't seen the others, and so it was all new to me. I think after seeing the other ones, I think it'll have more impact to see how Guillermo del Toro took it. But yeah, really beautiful film. Like everything you said, I think maybe production design might have a shot too
Oh
because
yeah, for
it
sure.
just looks insane as all of Guillermo del Toro's movies do. It just looks so real, so lived in. It has the quirkiness of like a steampunk vibe, but it feels like natural. It doesn't feel out of place in his films. So really, really amazing. And Oscar Isaac did a great job as well. So
Well, and there's the ship in the movie, for those once you do watch it or if you've already seen it, there's a giant ship that there's a couple cool scenes in that. Alex told us that was a real ship, so I mean they really went all out for the production design.
absolutely. Good stuff. All right, next up, we're going to talk about is Marty Supreme. This is Timothy Chalamet as the actor, and it also is directed um, by one of the Safdie brothers. It is Josh Safdie. This is a Safdie brothers film, start to finish. It has got a lot of intensity. Marty is a very intense character, and some would say even very unlikable character. So some people had issues with this film because like, how do you cheer for this guy? But I think Timothy's just his portrayal of this character and the energy that he emotes the entire movie carries the film so beautifully. Lots of great performances, lots of great moments that kind of take you by surprise. And then you get some heroic moments as well. But it's also got some heart in it as well. So Gwyneth Paltrow's in it, Odessa Azan is in it. Um, and but really Timothy Chalamet carries this on his back. I think one of the things too that's really interesting for this film was the marketing for it was that, and I don't know if Timothy came up with this idea, but they released a video of a what was supposed to be a private Teams like a Zoom call between him and the marketing team, and he's acting like Marty in the thing and trying to promote the movie like Marty would promote the movie and like so ridiculous. We'll probably put it in the notes for the show so you can go check it out on YouTube as well. But super funny. One of the other things I really love too is that you can actually go to you can actually buy in the film. There is a character that's gonna make Marty Supreme ping pong balls, and they're gonna be orange, and it's the first time it's ever been done. So you can actually go online and buy a set of Marty Supreme ping pong balls, and I want to get some just to put on my shelf because it's just
Right.
such a great marketing piece and just a fun thing to have. But yeah, really fun, energetic. Like I said, lots of fun times, good moments, key moments. Hero rising to the top, kind of unlikable hero, but still at the same time, he's the main character. So good stuff. What have you heard about Marty Supreme?
Yeah, it's definitely on my list. I've been a huge fan of the Safdie brothers for a little bit. Especially the first time I saw Good Time with Robert Pattinson.
Yes.
That movie blew my mind. I was like, this is so well made and crazy twist and all that. And then obviously they followed that up with Uncut Gems with Adam Sandler. Which didn't get a lot of Oscar love, unfortunately, but was a fantastic movie. It's part of the Criterion Collection now. So yeah, they both have kind of gone on to do stuff solo now. Obviously the others, Benny Safdie did the Smashing Machine with The Rock for A24 recently, and then Josh did this one, Marty Supreme, and a Safdie brothers movie, regardless of if it's both of them or just the one brother. You can tell it's a Safdie film because they just have that feel, the kind of like darkness. Like a lot of their scenes are shot in the daytime, but they just have this dark feel to them. And they're
There's a
just really
grittiness
good.
to it. Yeah.
Yeah, and they're just really good at that. And obviously, you know, a movie is, it's going to be pretty awesome if Timothy Chalamet is starring in it because that guy is just a wrecking ball. Like there's nothing he can't do, and I have a feeling he's just getting older. So we might. I mean, he's going to be around for a long time, which is exciting for film. So yeah, I really want to see this one. I tried to sneak out to the theaters to see it. I just couldn't make it happen. But yeah, I'm sure it's going to win at least a couple of awards. It's nominated for 9, I believe. Film editing, costume design, production design, screenplay. Obviously Timothy's nominated for best actor. Josh even got nominated for directing, so that's pretty cool. Cinematography, and then casting, and then obviously the big one, best picture. So I'm excited to finally sit down and watch it here soon. But I think it'll at least walk away with a couple of wins for the night. So
Yeah, absolutely. Really fun. Like you said, Timothy Chalamet. I had a friend of mine ask me, like, "Oh, do you like?" I said, "I like Timothy Chalamet." He's like, "Oh, you like him from Wonka?" I'm like, that was like the last one on my brain, right? Like, and I couldn't come up with anything right then and there. But you think Dune, you think, I mean, I actually saw him back on Homeland. He was a character for one of the seasons where he was in the Homeland movie, TV show with Claire Danes. Um, but like he's done so many great films and just incredible actor. And yeah, definitely one of those guys you want to keep an eye on and kind of see where he takes it. And I think even a few years ago when uh, he won the best actor, I think at the Golden Globes. And he said, like, I want to be on the level of these other of my heroes, and
yeah.
I'm putting in the work. I'm making the decisions to be there. I want to be with them one day. And I think that just he's got the heart, he's got the grit to kind of stick that out. So pretty amazing.
When I
And I
think
think
his
one of those
mom or
oh,
his dad, one of his parents, or both of them, maybe they have worked in the industry at some point, or they still do. That's how he got kind of to where he was able to like audition for movies and stuff.
yeah,
So I mean, he's kind of had an in, but not wasn't given to him. I mean, he's earned it. But like I think being around the film industry and the TV industry has really like helped him get to where he wants to be. And now now that he's getting a lot of recognition, I think he's just getting started. So I mean, he's still so young, so I think he's gonna be around for a long time. We might be watching, like, our next generations, like, De Niro or our next Jack Nicholson or
Or
whatever it
our
is.
next Leonardo DiCaprio, which
Yeah,
leads
no,
us
no,
to
next Leonardo DiCa yeah, exactly,
our
yeah.
next film. We're going to talk about One Battle After Another. I think Leo is one of those same guys. He's been acting since he was a child, even on TV and like Growing Pains. And now
Right.
he's, you know, he's one of those actors that is just up there when it comes to talent. And then uh, finally won his Oscar for Revenant, which we did a watch along a few weeks ago. If you want to go check that out, you can hear us kind of chatting a little bit about the Revenant movie. But Leonardo DiCaprio does an amazing job in One Battle After Another, directed by Paul Thomas Anderson, who is most known for films like Boogie Nights or Magnolia, and others as well. But those are the two that kind of grabbed my attention. But he's done Punch Drunk Love, Inherent Vice, There Will Be Blood, Licorice Pizza. These are all just incredible, incredible films. For this movie to come out, we did not do an episode. I didn't do a prepisode for One Battle After Another because it just was. I think it was coming out at the same time as something else more popular. So I was like, I'll just land on that one instead for the prepisode. But I did prep for One Battle After Another and watched all of P.T. Anderson's films leading up to it, and just like it's amazing. His filmography is insane. He has a way of kind of he has a quirkiness in his films that is not for everybody. So I can understand why some folks might not necessarily gravitate towards his films. He likes to take stories of characters, mostly mostly men and boys, and kind of take them through their life journey and all the ups and downs that might be. Uh, but it's not always done in a likable form. They aren't always likable characters to start with, but it's an epic story. Well, it may not be epic in scale of like world conquering events. It's still the way that he tells a story is very epic, and this one is just like that. Follows Leonardo DiCaprio and his wife, who um, who ends up getting captured. They are revolutionaries. They're trying to stop things from happening in the government, and she ends up getting arrested, and then uh, she ends up being out of the picture, basically. And so this is years later. It picks up in the story, and his daughter is now on the run from the same governmental agencies that were they're trying to find him and her. And so it's then she's running for her life. Meanwhile, Leo is trying to find her. Benicio del Toro does an incredible job in this film as well, as one of the best supporting actors um, in this film as well. I there's a funny moment where they were talking about bringing Benicio in, and they wanted him so bad that they had to wait till he finished the Phoenician Scheme. So they halted production for like 4 months so he could do Phoenician Scheme with Wes Anderson and then come in. And then when he did come in, he like completely changed his character from the script, and they like went with it. They're like, no, you know this character. You do what you're going to do, and so they switched things around to support the way that Benicio saw this character being. And so it's amazing to hear those stories because you know that there's so much. There's a freedom on set, even though P.T. Anderson is an incredible screenwriter as well. There's this sense where he's got freedom and he's got humility enough to know that he's going to follow his actor's lead when there's that type of relationship. So some of the greatest moments in the trailer are Benicio's moments, and it's like also in the movie. It's just great. So
Yeah, PTA, I mean, any cinephile will tell you he's one of their favorites. I've been watching his career for a long, long time. I mean, I remember working at the video store. I saw Boogie Nights. That was, I think, the first PTA movie I ever saw. Great film. So much fun. And then there's a underrated Paul Thomas Anderson movie that was really, I think it's still kind of hard to get. I think Criterion might have finally released it on Blu-ray, but there's a movie called Hard Eight that has an incredible
mhm.
cast. It's got John C. Riley. I'm drawing a Samuel L. Jackson, I think, is in it. But anyway, that movie's fantastic, and that was the first movie after Boogie Nights that I watched of his where I was like, man, he's like a really in-depth direct like to the movies that he does. I mean, even the ones like that are crazy, like Magnolia, that are just bonkers to the wall. He doesn't have a lot of those in his filmography, but I mean, he's just been killing it for years. I did want to bring up to our listeners' attention that he's actually been nominated for 14 Academy Awards total, and that's including One Battle After Another, but he's never
Amazing.
won. He's
Wow.
never won. I mean, we got some crazy ones on here. There Will Be Blood, Magnolia, Boogie Nights, Inherent Vice, Phantom Thread, Licorice Pizza, what you said earlier. Yeah, I mean, I think he has, let's see, I think he has three total, well, four now with One Battle for Another, but four times he's been Best Director nominated, never won. And I don't know if he'll win Best Director. I think Coogler will still win that. But if Coogler doesn't win, I think Paul Thomas Anderson will. And also he'll definitely win at least one of the big awards that he's nominated for this year finally, because
Hmm.
I'm thinking screenplay will probably be what it is, because that's usually a long career, that's usually what they win in the end. So fantastic movie, a lot of fun. I mean, it's very serious, and a lot of it is very real to today's world, which is
Hmm.
scary, but it has some heart. It's got some comedy. Like there were a couple of scenes with Leo, especially Leo and Benicio. There's a scene, and I was laughing so hard just because
Hmm.
their banter back and forth is really funny. Yeah, Benicio, you can tell how loved he is by Hollywood and by like most directors and producers, because they'll, like you just said, they'll wait, as long as it takes for him to be part of it. Uh, but yeah, I've loved Paul Thomas Anderson. I'm a huge Radiohead fan, so Johnny Greenwood doing the music again. Him and Paul Thomas Anderson have worked on 6 movies together. They did There Will Be Blood, The Master, which I love The Master, Inherent Vice, Phantom Thread, Licorice Pizza, and One Battle After Another. And I'm hoping he's finally going to get his dues and win an Oscar. Johnny Greenwood is the guitarist for Radiohead, if for all of you who don't know that. Fantastic. He knows music inside and out. He's worked with Paul before many times. He's been nominated 3 different times for an Oscar for music and never won. And only one of those was a Paul Thomas Anderson movie, which is this one right here. So I'm excited to see what awards they do walk away with. I think they deserve, all that they have gotten praise for. It's got 14, I think it's got, yeah, I think it has like 13 nominations or 14, so that's a lot, but well deserved. It's a fantastic movie. It's very long. I know a lot of our listeners don't like to sit through long movies, but it's well worth it. I mean, there's some scenes in the middle that kind of like pick up and get you energized, and Sean Penn, I mean, he's
Oh
been
yeah.
around the game for a long time, but this is, I think, out of all his roles I've seen him in, this is his like most evil role. He's not a good guy at all, and he plays it so well. And also, he's like ridiculously jacked. That's another older person who's like in ridiculous shape for
Right.
their age. He's super jacked in this movie, but him and Leo have some good banter back and forth, and I'm just happy it got a ton of nominations, because I've been a Paul Thomas Anderson fan for a long time. So I enjoyed One Battle After Another.
Absolutely, man. Let's move on to our the one we're going to discuss. Now, this is something that I thought was very cool. And that is that we have 2 foreign language films that were nominated in the Best Picture category. One of those films that is foreign language film is Sentimental Value. Um, Recognizable faces in the film are Stellan Skarsgård and Elle Fanning, who's like on a tear right now. We've talked about her in a couple of episodes, but she's getting a lot of jobs these days. And then a couple of other folks that I did not recognize, probably because they're from that native country. but this was a very touching film. Um, Stellan Skarsgård plays a director, and he's got 2 daughters. They are estranged daughters at this point. Something happened between him and his wife, and something happened to the wife, and the mom and, the 2 daughters at this point in their lives, hate the dad, one of them more than the other, and it's just the story of them. He wants to do a movie with Elle Fanning as the actress and try and make it, it seems very much like a personal story of him growing up, and there's this kind of back and forth between that, and it's just one of those kind of like following these characters through these difficult times, through these real life situations. Now we aren't all directors, but many of us have children and we all have parents, and so there's that relational aspect of that just kind of grabs you by the heartstrings and just kind of pulls you into this film. So really well done film. There's even a shot that's a really fun one shot um, in the film that's it's this character's film that you're watching in the film, and it's just this beautiful shot from a train car that backs away, zooms out, and you're seeing the characters run across a field, and then as the camera backs out, you realize the camera was in the train, and then the people are running around and running into the door that you just came out of, and then it's following them as they run through the train. It's just like really cool one shot to kind of show you like this character's directing chops in the film. But yeah, it's a really touching film. It's like I said, just following these characters going through this life trauma, trying to deal with their past, and one of the characters just doesn't know how to deal with her trauma, and she's um, trying to get through it, and they learn some things along the way. Definitely worth checking out. There's a lot of movies out there I know, but this one's definitely a good one to check out. Any thoughts on sentimental value? Have you heard anything on your side?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure I'll enjoy it a lot. I mean, really awesome cast. I didn't know Corey Michael Smith was in it. A lot of you will know him from Gotham, the TV show. He was the Riddler.
Yes,
He's also Chevy Chase in the Saturday Night Live film that
nice.
Jason Reitman did. But yeah, he's starting to pop up as well as Elle Fanning, and then obviously Stellan Skarsgård is, the father of incredible actors, but he's also been around for a long time. He doesn't miss very often, even when he's just a side character. But this one, he's a leading man. Really great cast. It looks like most of them all got nominated. But yeah, it's on my list. I've heard it's a very beautiful film. Um, and Neon produced it, so I'm sure I'll like it. It's just I haven't had a chance to sit down and watch it, but
Yeah,
I'm happy it got I think it ended up getting 9 nominations total. Um We've got film editing, screenplay, 2 supporting actresses awards, 1 best actress, and then Stellan for best actor, and then best director actually, and then international feature film and best picture, obviously. So, lots of cool nominations, and it might be a sneaky one in the I don't know if it would have the juice to win best picture overall, but it sure seems like it got a lot of accolades, so that's pretty cool.
absolutely. All right, next up, we've got a Netflix film in Train Dreams, starring Joel Edgerton, Clifton Collins, Felicity Jones, directed by Clint Bentley. You saw this one. You want to share first? How about this one?
Yeah. So this, I had not heard of anything about this movie. Even I mean, I throw Netflix on every so often to watch TV shows and stuff, but I hadn't really heard about it till the Oscar nominations came out, and I'm really glad I did watch it because I mean it's a beautiful film. I mean it's beautifully shot. Um, it's not super long. I think it's like an hour and 45 minutes, so it's a good length. Very I mean, it's beautifully shot, but it has a lot of like heartbreak in it, and we have a little bit of a, it's not a reunion of Star Wars, but we have two Star Wars characters. We have Joel Edgerton, Uncle Owen, in the prequels, and then he got to reprise his role for the Obi-Wan TV show as well. But and then Felicity Jones, obviously Jyn Erso in what many Star Wars fans consider the best movie, Rogue One. So it was kind of cool. They're husband and wife in this movie. But yeah, it's like I said, it's just so beautifully shot. Um, the finale, it's not a lot of, there's not a lot of action in this movie. So a lot of our viewers, you guys might not enjoy it as much as I did. I just thought it was very pretty. It was very well shot. Joel Egerton is a tremendously talented actor. I wish he would direct more movies because he did a movie called The Gift a while back that was so good. And he can just kind of he can play pretty much anything you throw at him. So this one's got some cool stuff. Most notably, the it's got 4 Oscar nominations: screenplay, cinematography. Like I said, the cinematography is really, really good in this. And then best music, and Nick Cave from Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds actually worked on the music. And if that name sounds familiar, it's because he did the song from it ended up becoming the theme song for Peaky Blinders, but it's also in the original Scream.
All right.
And they may or may not have thrown it into Scream 7, so it's cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, Nick Cave, he's been a writer in Hollywood before. He's had a lot of his music on stuff, but the song that he's nominated for is really, it's a pretty song. It's at the very end credits, but yeah, really awesome movie. I'm really glad I got to see it because it's just it's a beautiful film. It's very, very nice.
Nice. Also has William H. Macy, I wanted to mention, and his character tells some fun stories when in the scenes that he's in. And I just wrote on there, the dolly shots in that in those 4 scenes are just so beautiful.
Yes.
Um, I mean, there's some story to it. I think you can come around like the consumption of American early Americana of just like taking all the trees and cutting down all the trees, like they're just constantly consuming in that time to make life make sense in the frontier. One of the other lines that kind of caught me off guard was he's breaking down in tears. Joel Edgerton is, and he says, "Sorry, I don't know what came over me," which is one of those things that I think gets displayed in films often, but it's something we also experience in real life where um, men men showing emotion can sometimes be viewed as weakness, and I think this movie is trying to show real life and real emotion, and it does such a great job of that. So very cool. Next up, we've got The Secret Agent. This is another foreign language film um, that was nominated for Best Picture, and it's got incredible story. This is a story of a guy who is a technology expert, and he flees from a mysterious past and returns home in the film to try and touch base with his estranged son. But what we find out is that there's a lot of government agencies that want to take him out, and so the whole movie he's trying to avoid that. We get flashbacks throughout the film of kind of showing of him and his wife and him and his son, and then kind of what got them to that point. And then there's also some flash forwards in the film that I thought were really clever, that kind of caught me by surprise. I would say. I think the first time I saw him was he was in Narcos on Netflix. And
Pablo Escobar.
yes, and that was when I first got introduced to him. He does an incredible job carrying this film in that lead role, and just it was a really solid, fun kind of story. Not I know The Secret Agent might scare some people if you're not into spy thrillers. This isn't a spy thriller film. It's a character film of this guy and what he's going through, and then that's just kind of part of the story for him is trying to um, find his way in the world and trying to bring his family back together. So um, really, really good show, good movie in Spanish for the majority of the time. So, what about you? Have you heard anything about Secret Agent?
Yeah, mainly just that Wagner Mora is really good in it. And then uh
I
yeah,
apologize. It was sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but it was Portuguese, not Spanish.
Portuguese,
Portuguese,
yeah,
German, and
Portuguese.
English.
But yeah,
Um,
it's I know it was getting a lot of praise. Pretty much all the reviews I've seen since it came out say it's just really well shot. It kind of keeps your attention. It's a thriller. Um, but just yeah, it's got 4 Oscar nominations. But it's also up for best casting, and then Wagner Moura is best performance by an actor in a leading role as well. But yeah, and I know him from he was also in Civil War, the A24 film.
yes, yeah.
Yeah, he was in that. So that's the first time because I've never seen Narcos. I've seen bits and pieces on like social media before, but I've never sat
Mhm.
down to like watch that whole show. But I hear it's fantastic. Um, and he's very talented, but he was really good in Civil War. And then I hear he just knocks it out of the park in this movie. So I'm excited to eventually sit down and watch that one as well.
Yeah, it's definitely worth a watch. Like I said, really enjoyable, and entertaining in the good way. Um, cool. Well, that brings us to our final film we're going to talk about today, and that is Ryan Coogler's Sinners, starring Michael B. Jordan and others. But I did want to mention this because I forgot to mention it on the One Battle After Another. I actually got to see One Battle twice in full 70 millimeter IMAX at the theater here. And I also got to see Sinners twice on the
Nice.
full 70 millimeter IMAX here in Dallas. And that was just so beautiful. So beautiful. But
And for our
kind of,
listeners, real quick, that don't
yeah,
know
go
what
for it.
that means, like, there are well, there's not really a lot of those projectors in this whole United States, or even in the world. So there's only 8 total in the United States, and after the pandemic, they actually were running out of people that knew how to run them. So like, it's very they're these huge projectors that are like they sound like helicopters or like machine guns or like they're very very loud. They're huge, but it's a real treat if you ever get a chance to go see a movie in that kind of theater. And luckily Spring was able to see Sinners and One Battle After Another. But it's really cool. Look it up online, just so you know what I'm talking about, because it's pretty cool looking how they put those on those giant projectors. But go ahead, talk
No,
about.
absolutely. Great call out. And actually,
Yeah.
what I'll do is I'll put it in the notes of this episode also is that Ryan Coogler, when the movie was coming out, actually did a video and he talked through all the different types of film that are used, going all the way from like 8 millimeter, 16 millimeter, 35 millimeter, 70 millimeter, talking about the different IMAX and other formats, because he had 2 different formats that he shot the film in to begin with, and the cinematographer, incredible. I'll let you talk to her, but um, yeah, just an incredible movie. So I'll put that in the notes as well, so you guys can go and kind of see if you're interested in knowing more about the film. I just knew growing up, you'd go to the museum and you'd see an IMAX film, and it was this 4-story tall movie, and you're like, "This is amazing," but you didn't get to see regular films in that until they started putting them and kind of reformatting them for that screen, and that screen is the 70 millimeter IMAX screen. The first film I saw in that format was GoldenEye, James Bond
Oh
film.
man, that's
So that
awesome.
was the first one that I was kind of hooked. And so once I found that there was one here in Dallas that's not in a museum, it's just at a theater in the Cinemark. I just any chance I get, I'm going to go over there and see it. So if you live somewhere that's nearby, I'd say even within an hour, 2 hours, it's worth it. If you're a cinephile, if you like films, it's worth it to see it in this format because it's just a different experience. Story is incredible, acting is incredible. The subtext is deep, and the stories that we've seen going around the making of this film is just powerful. And so a lot of people have this up there. It's probably winning Best Picture. I've heard it said that it's probably between Sinners and One Battle After Another. It's probably getting the award. But yeah, just beautiful. Josh, what are your thoughts on Sinners?
Yeah, I mean, you touched on most of the big stuff, but yeah, I mean, it's unlike any film. I mean, it's kind of a mix of genre. I mean, it has everything in it. It's got a little bit of humor. It's got it's like almost like a period piece. It's a mobster movie. It's a horror movie. It's got elements of kind of everything mixed into one. And Ryan Coogler, and his passion for filmmaking and what he does to him and Michael B. Jordan together. They've worked together now almost on everything that Coogler's directed,
Hmm.
all the way back to Fruitvale Station, which was a really powerful film. And that was kind of like the breakout for Michael B. Jordan, even though he'd been in some stuff before. That was definitely the breakout for Coogler, and we had no idea, just what a powerful force he was going to become. He obviously went on to do Black Panther, both Black Panther movies. And the first one was nominated for Best Picture, which a comic book movie had never been nominated for Best Picture before.
Hmm.
So, I mean, just from the start of his career to watch the last, even 5, 6 years, what he's done. I mean, he did the first Creed movie with Michael B. Jordan, which I thought was fantastic. I'm a huge Rocky fan. But yeah, it's very it's just really cool to see Coogler talk about his love for film, because he's like one of us. Like, he's a cinephile at heart, and he just wants to share his passions with all of us, and you can see it in his work. I mean, the stuff he's able to do with some of these films. And the thing I love the most about Coogler, is he brings his crew on, and they're all, from different backgrounds, different ethnicities. He hires a lot of females. He's very empowering to women, which is, we don't have enough of that in film, and there's so many talented females out there. So Autumn Arakpa, who we were just talking about, the cinematographer, she had worked with him on Wakanda Forever. She's done, I think she did the TV show Loki for Marvel and stuff, but her this is her best work of her career so far, and it is, I mean, there's some shots in Sinners that are just so beautifully, like, almost every scene, there's at least one thing where it could be a poster, and it'd be like the coolest poster you have in
Yeah.
your room. Just beautifully shot, images and stuff. So I mean, I just think that's really cool that he's giving women a chance to shine. She got her Oscar nomination for best cinematography. Another person who I love in their career is Ludwig Göransson, who did,
Yep.
we just talked about him recently, actually, but he was nominated for Oppenheimer with Chris Nolan, and beautiful score in that. This one's got some awesome music. He's real known for using, like, different native countries, like, the instruments in his music. And then this one is more a mix of a lot of genres of music to make what they do in the film. And it's not a musical, but it has some scenes that are tied. I mean, the background of the movie is all tied to music, which is really cool. And obviously, you and I both love music, so I mean, it's not everyone's gonna appreciate that as much as the others, but there's something in this movie to appreciate, whether you like the actors, like, whether you like Ryan Coogler, whether you like music, whether you like, cinematography. Like, there's something in this movie for every walk of life for movie
Yeah.
lovers. So I think it's pretty impressive, and we can't go without saying it's the most nominated film in history now, which is pretty damn impressive. At 16 nominations. I mean, if you think about the history of the Oscars over 100 years almost now, like, that's pretty mind blowing, and it's a very culturally unified group of people, like, from all different walks of life, and to see a movie like that succeed and just introduce the world to new things in film is just really cool. So I'm super excited for everybody who worked on the film. I do think it's going to win Best Picture. I mean, if it doesn't, I'm with you. I think one battle after another will win, but it's definitely going to win some awards. I mean, you can't get nominated for 16 awards and not win a single one. That'd be a travesty. So it's got a lot going for it, but, I loved it, even, like, some of my friends who aren't big into film, like, they messaged me after they saw it, and they were like, "Dude, that was such I've never seen a movie like that." I was like, "Yeah, it's unique and it's groundbreaking, so it's pretty cool." But I enjoyed, Sinners quite a bit.
That's awesome, man. One other call out I'll say is that they just released a Tiny Desk this last week with Buddy Guy.
Yes.
Miles Canton comes out and does a few songs with him, and it's worth the watch. I'm going to put that in the notes as well.
Heck yeah.
And then William H. Macy was also in another film where we got to talk to one of the producers and the storyboard artists. And I'm going to put that link in here as well. So if you want to go see that interview, Creators
Yes.
Conversation, that would be an awesome, awesome thing to do as well if you're interested. Well, the biggest thing is Friday, Alex Armbruster interview. Sunday night, the Oscars. We're going to start our live stream at 5:30. We hope you'll join us. If you don't join us for that, then we'll see you next week, for the next
Absolutely.
episode. All right. Thanks, everybody. We'll talk to you soon. Thanks so much for listening to the podcast. We hope you enjoyed this episode. Don't forget to jump over to our website, moviesthatmakeyoupodcast.com, see all of our links. Follow us on Instagram so you never miss an episode, a live stream, or an interview. And until next time, keep watching movies.